Well, hey everyone, Eonin here. Welcome back to Eonin's Edge. Today I'm going to be reviewing QSP's Pangolin. So let's jump right in with specs as I always do. The Pangolin is a full-size knife from QSP. Pretty cool little bugger here. We've got a Stonewash D2 blade, drop point, flat grind, with 3 5/8 inches of usable blade. We have a textured and relieved G10 scales on both sides. We've got full liners on a liner lock knife with solid lockup. Ceramic ball bearings this thing is riding on. All stainless hardware and clip. And the scale length on this knife is 4 7/8 inches. The tip to tail on this is 8.5 inches, and the weight on my digital scale was 5.2 ounces. This is, by the way, an Apex listing knife. QSP gave us some of these to review and told us, hey, tell us what you think. So let's talk about the things I like. This is a full-size knife from QSP. Yep, I said that correctly. A full-size knife from QSP. Look at how much handle there is back here when you're holding this sucker in the hammer grip position. I have large glove-size hands, by the way. You got a long blade, which is great. 3 5/8 inches of actual cutting edge on this thing. Pretty good size spine. So this is a big knife. And that, is something that QSP isn't known for. Like I said, the big Stonewash blade is great. There's meaningful jimping up here on the top of the knife to get your hand on it. That's fantastic. The G10, as I said, is nicely done. Lots of relief on it. Lots of texturing on it. It feels really good. And, it has a usable stainless steel pocket clip on it that's got some spring pressure to it, but it slips in and out of the pocket pretty easy. I also like that it's pretty smooth on this side, so nothing catches on your hand, and it's not excessively thick for a full linered stainless steel knife. So all of those are good things. Like I said, usable pocket clip, good lockup. The knife cuts well through all the usual suspects that I typically test the knife with, which would be cutting through cardboard, cutting some tie wraps, slicing shavings off of some 2x4s or wood blocks. I did all that stuff with it. Blade held up really well. No real marks or anything on it. You can't even tell. Oiled it and wiped it off later. It is D2, so you will have to keep this thing well wiped down and well oiled to keep it from being rusty or to have rust start forming on the knife. That having been said, like I said, it did handle all the cutting tasks well. It's a big, chunky knife, good build quality, feels good in your hand, cuts through a lot of stuff. So those are all pluses for sure. Dislikes. I just mentioned it's got Stonewash D2, better than Satin Brush D2, obviously, but it is D2. Strange just because 14C and 9CR18 MOV are pretty popular and pretty readily available, and would have liked to maybe have seen this knife in a different blade steel. I like the size, like the design, big rugged knife, cuts well. Not exactly sure why they went with D2 on this when they could have gone with something more stainless and given you a very low maintenance knife. But I get it. It does keep the cost down and it does hold an edge pretty well. So understand that part. The only other thing that I really noticed on the knife was that the spoon here on the pocket clip, depending on where you hold it, it might create a little bit of hot spot. When I was doing some heavy slicing through stuff, I noticed this spoon here just a tiny bit. It's not a major deal, but depending on your hand size, you may notice that. And then the other thing I noticed is that the knife has it's handle heavy, and it has a balance point that's a full inch behind the pivot. So the balance point is actually back in this area here. So you're going to notice that despite the long, rather large cutting blade, the knife is slightly out of balance, but not anything that's too drastic. Like I said, if you're holding it forward to the balance point, you're probably not going to notice it quite as much, so it's not too bad. But those are a couple of things that you might discover about this knife when you get it. Like I said, where the pocket set clip sets in your hand, and also the fact that the knife is noticeably handle heavy. Again, it does have full stainless liners, full G10 handles, so that is probably part of the reason why the knife seems a little heavy. It does have some relief cuts in it, as you can see on both sides, but it's still a little bit noticeably handle heavy. Not bad, not unpleasant, but you can definitely notice it. All right, and so finally, let's do a couple of size comps on this knife. Let's show you a knife that's pretty popular that most people might be aware of. This is the Benchmade Presidio 2 full size, not the mini. And you can see this is a very, very big knife, especially by Benchmade standards. This is a big knife. You can see that the Pangolin is, it's pretty close. It's in that same general size range, right? Pretty big knife. There's the Benchmade. There's the Pangolin, right? Benchmade's obviously a lot lighter knife. And then let's show you something even bigger, just to give you an idea. This is the Megaron Valona, which a ton of people own and have and know what size it is. And you can see the Valona is a lot bigger knife, but the Valona is a big long knife. So that kind of gives you an idea of where this thing falls in. Similar to the Benchmade and not quite as big as the Megaron Valona. So good size knife though, full size knife for QSP, one of the few knives they have that's in this size category. So let me summarize. This is a solidly built QSP knife, as a lot of their knives lately have been. It's only $46, so not an expensive knife. Very ruggedly built, very good quality. The size, the blade shape, despite it having D2 steel, this is still a good value for $46. If you're looking for a full-size knife for a gift, or maybe a full-size knife that you know you're going to put to good use, then I would say this fits into that range. Also, it does come in black G10, and it comes in a fully blacked out version with a black coated D2 blade. So if you're worried about the problems with the D2 steel, then maybe you go with the fully blacked out one and you get this same knife with this same build quality and materials, but you get it with a black coated D2 blade. All right, there you have it, folks. There is a sub $50 QSP full size, rugged use, folding pocket knife. That's all I got for you today, guys. If you liked the video, please hit that like button. Also consider subscribing to my channel for future content notifications. Thank you as always for watching. I appreciate it, and you folks stay sharp.